Good to go.
So I'm here with Keith Stroup of NORML, and just want to ask a couple of questions. How does it feel to see all of this after all of these years?
45 years.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you honestly, I knew it was going to happen because of the demographics. You could tell that people my age and older were dying off, and we're the ones who didn't want legalization. Yeah. Younger people had no problem with marijuana, whether they smoked it or not. So I knew we would win, but I wasn't sure I'd live long enough to see it. So I feel incredibly fortunate.
The momentum gained quickly.
I feel lucky to be alive to actually see it through.
And as you should be after all the hard fight you put in. So what's next?
Well, there will be at least one initiative for full legalization on the ballot this November. That will be in Ohio. There will be at least 5 states that will have initiatives on the ballot in 2016. I was going to say Rhode Island has a good shot. They're actually trying to get it through the legislature, but I doubt they will. But they'll probably be on the ballot. Massachusetts will be on the ballot. California will be on the ballot. A couple of other states I'm breaking them. Michigan will be on the ballot almost for sure. So what's next, I would say, is this. In these early versions of legalization, we were not able to include provisions to protect people's job security, for example. Important. To improve child custody issues that people don't always realize, but if a neighbor complains about you smoking marijuana,
your child.
The child welfare agency will contact you, and one of the things they'll do, they assume you're not a fit parent because you smoke, and you have to jump through hoops to prove you are and keep your kids. That's absurd. So that needs to be changed.
Absolutely.
In DUID, we need to develop a test to measure impairment, not physical presence of THC. Hi, Dan. Nice to see you.
Old guys remember each other, okay?
The real problem with the DUID today is most state legislatures want to do it the easy way, like point away for alcohol. THC doesn't work like alcohol. It sticks to the fatty tissues of the body. It's released in a regular fashion. So all we need, it would be easy to develop, is a test that would measure actual impairment. So that if you smoke on the weekend, you're not fired on Monday because you go to job and get a drug test. But you are today, even in the legalization states. So we've still got a lot of work to do. Now, by the way, for NORML, I say this. We've always been a consumer group. We don't represent the industry. I love the industry because if they didn't grow marijuana and sell it, I wouldn't have anything to smoke.
Absolutely.
And we wouldn't have a legalization movement if there was no marijuana. But what we really care about is we want marijuana that's been tested in a laboratory. We want to know it doesn't have mold and pesticides. We want to know the THC and the CBD strength and probably the terpenes.
I want to know what I'm consuming.
That's right. Any other product.
Exactly.
So NORML's work really is just getting started from my standpoint.
So can you offer up one piece of advice if you had to tell Ganjapreneurs, budding Ganjapreneurs, pun intended, one piece of advice, what would it be?
I get asked that frequently and I'm consistent. I say move to Colorado. And I think there is no substitute for being at the epicenter of legalization, and that's what we have here. I mean, you can learn from the internet, and you can come visit like I do and learn, but you need that network of people. You need to know those opportunities. There are tens of thousands of people, new industries, new jobs in this state, and especially in Denver, simply because they elected to bring marijuana culture above ground.
Absolutely.
So I'd say right now, move to Colorado, then maybe go back to where you came from with all that expertise.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time.